All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 20 of Brat Said That. I'm your host, Brat Jackson. We're in a little time crunch, okay? I wanted to get the show out today. I gotta go to that dreaded thing called work in about 2 hours. So we're gonna kind of do like a speed run today, We're gonna talk about what we need to talk about. But, probably not gonna go on for more than 45 minutes to 50 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Episode 20. I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope everybody's had a good few days. Everything's good here in the Castle de la Brat. Raleigh the dog, he's doing great. Penny's doing great. Babe's doing great. I'm watching 1996 Royal Rumble. When Shawn Michaels wins it. Spoilers. But, they don't have a pay-per-view in December. WWE, what's going on? What is going on? There's no pay-per-view in December. I know I talked about it last show, but we're like 6 weeks away. I mean, yeah, John Cena's final, show now. The last time is now tournament finals. That's like a pay-per-view itself, but that's a Saturday night's main event. That would have been cool. Have like a John Cena-esque pay-per-view. I would have liked that. But hey, we don't have any Coke Zero. Yes, I'm out of Coke Zero. Nothing. Yeah, so it's gonna be a very dry, thirsty show. So excuse me if I am a little bit more, strangled to the throat. I see that I'm live on the Facebook. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the show. Episode 20. Let's start. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to put this on Do Not Disturb. Hold on one second. Un momento. Am I back? Every time I always put on Do Not Disturb, and I forgot to do it. If you haven't noticed, I Do Not Disturb, and I forgot. Okay, yeah, you hear me. I have my New York Yankee hat and a long sleeve sweater on. It's quite chilly. I look like a New York City lesbian, but anyway, let's talk about SmackDown tonight. Give you a little preview. The last time is now tournament finals is happening. LA Knight, versus Gunther. I'm going for LA Knight. I really am. I think him versus Cena would be a great final match. Gunther, I know a lot of people aren't happy about Gunther being John Cena's possible last opponent. Even John Cena Sr. John Cena Sr. Wait, am I saying this right? Even John Cena's dad is like, I don't think the fans want to see Cena versus Gunther. And I agree. I don't want to see it either to an extent. I want to see LA Knight. He deserves, there's that word again, deserves. But he should be in that spot. The promos would be great. But we got to see. Tonight is the night. Even if it is Gunther, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Gunther. Don't get me wrong. So either or, it's not Jey Uso, so I think fans should be happy regardless. But we'll see. Next week is John Cena's last match. Next show, we're going to probably either next show or next week, we're just going to dedicate the whole show to John Cena. And then the last time is now tournament. And last time is now match. I'm just excited. I'm going to cry. I'll admit it. I'm a grown man. I got gray hairs, but seeing a childhood hero, retire, there's going to be something very, very sad. But other than that, on SmackDown, we got Ilya Dragunov, United States champion, doing his open challenge. Love open challenges. Open challenges are so fun when they're done right. So I've always been like a fan of like open challenges, so where like people from the hometown should answer the open challenge. Get them, or like, somebody that doesn't really have a spot on the card too much, answer the open challenge. So we'll see. I do enjoy them doing the open challenges. They did it with Sami Zayn, of course, with John Cena. And now Ilya Dragunov is keeping the tradition alive. Speaking about that, NXT coming up. We got Deadline in tomorrow, right? No, I keep forgetting what today is. Today's Thursday. Today is Friday. Today's literally Friday. I thought it was Thursday. It is Friday. Jeez. Tomorrow, NXT Deadline, December 6th in San Antonio. I've never been to San Antonio. I'll tell you something. When I was driving from Florida to Vegas, I had two destinations, either Dallas or San Antonio, because you can kind of either go either way. But I picked Dallas. I saw the Mavericks play. I wanted to always go to the JFK Assassination Building, you know, where they say Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK. This is not going to be a conspiracy podcast. No, that is when I get on my Joe Rogan. When I do Joe Rogan, we're talking conspiracies. But NXT Deadline, Ricky Saints versus Obafemi. Kind of surprised Obafemi's not on the main roster. I really am. I figured he would be on the main roster, making his just like a Ryback-esque just domination, just beating people left and right. But he's back in NXT, former NXT champion. Don't see Ricky Saints losing the NXT championship just yet. But either or, you got to put Saints on the main roster, Obafemi on the main roster. What NXT championship division is just in good hands. It is in good hands. Then you got the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, which is like, if I remember correctly, it's like not a gauntlet, but like most pins in a certain time. You got Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry versus Dion Lennox and Miles Bourne. Men's NXT championship match at New Year's Evil. Hey, I hear Joe Hendry is going to be up and coming to the roster soon, so I feel, or he's like a WWE superstar. So I would love to see Joe Hendry. I'm not going to clap every time I say his name. But I think I like Joe Hendry. Leon Slater, Javon Evans, still young guys. Miles Bourne, not Randy Orton, doing his own thing. And I think Dion Lennox, he's part of the Dark State. So that's going to be a really good match. If I had to pick a winner, you know, we don't do predictions here, but we do predictions. Let's give it to Miles Bourne. I can see Miles Bourne versus Ricky Saints, Miles Bourne versus Obafemi. I feel he's like next in line. Then you got the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge for NXT Championship at New Year's Evil, which great name, by the way. Great name, New Year's Evil. I love. Sol Roca, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace versus Kendall Gray. I have been and always will be a huge Jordan Grace fan, especially before she became Muscle Mommy, when she was working on the independents. Jordan Grace, you should put a title on her. She should be the next NXT Women's Champion. Don't think she's won the NXT Women's Championship. She was TNA Women's Champion. So, Jordan Grace, I know they're pushing Sol Roca very, very hard, rightfully so. Kalani Jordan, that match just has a bunch of, I was going to say phenomenal women, but they do. Oh, look at this. They got Kendall Gray, she's Las Vegas. I wonder what she trained in. She went to Arborview High School. Wow, young age. Wow, look at that. Wow. So, she's got experience, Las Vegas native, so good for her. Then you got Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dam. I was surprised that they kicked Tatum Paxley out of the group. What is that group's name? The Culling. The Culling. That's Culling. So, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do. Good match. You're going to, you know, a singles match probably open up the show. And then you got Ethan Page versus Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana has been killing it since his debut. Ethan Page, North American champion. Great North American champion. Great overall. So I want to really enjoy this card. This is tomorrow, Deadline, 4 p.m., 7 o'clock Eastern. So check it out. Maybe I'll have my review next show. But I'm definitely going to check that out. That sounds like a great show. And then the finals for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship is set. We've talked about this since the match or the title was announced. And I'm excited. You know, we got, like I said, I've been following AEW much more than I had before. And like I said, Brat said that. I thought Blood and Guts was better than War Games, I'll be honest. But, yeah, so we have Babes of Wrath versus the Timeless Love Bombs. Now, I would give it to the Babes of Wrath just for two reasons. And that is because I like them more than Timeless Love Bombs, but Timeless Love Bombs are awesome. So either or, it's going to be at Winter is Coming, December 10th. So either or, we're gonna see a new champions, new tag team champions, and then I guess a couple matches were announced for that collision, Winter is Coming collision that I just saw. Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia, and Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter versus Sisters of Sin. So good for AEW. I'm looking forward to the finals. Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale, Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa. So good for them. And then I know they got They got at World's End in December later this month. We'll talk more about that. More matches are announced. But like I said, we're gonna speed run this. We got SmackDown tonight, NXT tomorrow, AEW, John Cena's final time is now. We're down to almost 8 days, guys. 8 days until the greatest of all time walks away. It's going to be a very, 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 very sad day. But speaking about not being sad days, we got speaking of finals too. The final UFC pay-per-view is happening tomorrow, and when I say final pay-per-view, when they go to Paramount Plus, I'm pretty sure that's where they're going. They're not going to charge you for pay-per-views, which I'll be honest. I've always bought UFC pay-per-views. I bought every single UFC pay-per-view for the last 15 years. Always. Every month. Take my card and... Okay. You know where I'm going with this. But hey, we got a great card. I'm in a good chipper mood. Maybe I shouldn't drink Coke Zero so much because, maybe that just got me really grouchy. But I'm doing good. Oh, let's look at the Royal Rumble. Oh, Yokozuna. They got, Razor. This is before Razor left. Rest in peace. Jake the Snake. Viscera. Bob Backlund. I don't even know who's in that ring. I don't think that's Bob Backlund. I don't know. Anyway, 96, great year. UFC Bantamweight Champion Merab Devin. I should know this. I should know how to pronounce his name. But I should know this because I love the guy. Merab the Machine. He's 21-4, 14 fight win streak. He looks to defend the title for the 4th time this year. Remarkable. He's facing Peter Yan, former UFC Bantamweight Champion, 19-5. We all remember what happened with him and Aljo. Aljo was on his knees. Peter landed that illegal knee. Disqualification, first time in UFC history that a title has changed by disqualification. That was back in 2022. Or just, did you say 2022 or 2022? Anyway, I remember that. I was at a party. I won $50. Thank you, Aljo. Both men fought in March 2023 with Merab winning the contest by unanimous decision. I'm picking Merab to win. Always picking Merab. He is one of the greatest champions that we have now. He's one of the greatest bantamweight champions in history. And just what he is doing is it's just machine-like. His last win against Corey Sandhagen, and then you got wins over Sean O'Malley and Magomedov, not Khabib. But Merab gonna retain his title, gonna be a great fight. I work tomorrow, but I get off at 7, so I'll be making sure that I get my little jiggly butt on that couch to watch Merab. Then in the co-main event, very good fight, very, very good fight. Alexander Pantoja, I can pronounce that, 30-5, 8-fight win streak, the UFC flyweight champion, won the title back in 2023. He's facing Joshua Vaughn. 24, looks to become one of the youngest UFC champions of all time. 15-2, 5-fight win streak coming off fight of the year possibly in June against Brandon Royval. We watched that at this is how me and Babe work, okay? We'll go to a party and we'll just be sitting, hanging out with the dogs, watching the UFC fights. It was Star Wars themed. It was cute. I got pictures. Go to my Instagram, look them up. Coming up fight of the year. So Joshua Van, I think Pantoja's too experienced. He's been in the deep waters way too much for Joshua Vaughn. But either or, you're going to have a great fight on your hands. You're going to have a great fight. Pantoja's looking to continue his win streak. And this is, win or lose Joshua Van, you are going to become a superstar. This is not going to be, regardless of what happens, if you win or if you lose, you're going to get another shot. You're only 24, so going to be a great fight. Then we have Brandon Moreno, former UFC flyweight champion, 38-8-2. Last fought in March against Steve Urseg, messed that up, versus Tatsuro Torari. He is a former Shudo flyweight champion, 17-1. Now, I was kind of up and down picking this. Brandon Moreno, as you know, has got that heart, that desire, that Mexican toughness that a lot of people have. But I think this might be I don't know. This is really a pick 'em fight. This is really a pick 'em fight. I don't ever want to go against Moreno. So I'm not. I think Brandon Moreno's gonna win. He's got a championship history. It says my pick is Tesoro Terrara, but I'm picking Brandon Moreno. I'm gonna edit that right now in my notes. I got Brandon Moreno. I can't vote against him. Some of these shows, it's live, man. So I'll get, I have one idea in one head, and then I go to the show and I'll talk about it, and I'll change my idea. And then the next fight, we got Henry Cejudo, 16-5, former champ. Looks to end his 3-fight losing streak. Guys, this is one of the craziest things, because Henry Cejudo, he was on top of the world, winning championships left and right, defeating TJ Dillashaw in 30 seconds. I want to go to his record right here. He beat Dominic Cruz. And then in 2020, he decides, hey, I'm going to vacate my title, and I'm going to retire. 16-2 when he retired. Decided, you know what? I just won the vacant UFC bantamweight champion. I defended the UFC flyweight championship. I'm champ. Only won in about 11 fighters or something around there to be double champion. I'm going to take 3 years off in my prime to come back and face and then face Aljamain Sterling for the UFC bantamweight championship. He loses. A split decision, but you took 3 years off from one of the highest peaks you can possibly have peaked. And then you run into Merab, and then you lose to Song Yadong in one of the fights I'll never forget. It was, I know we talk about Aspinall and his eye poke and stuff, but that eye poke from Song Yadong rendered the fight unable to continue, and Cejudo lost by a technical unanimous decision. So if he really wants to bounce back, this is a fight for him to bounce back. And he's facing a tough person in Peyton Talbert, who is 10-1. He's a very, very popular fighter. But Henry Cejudo is still a world-class wrestler. I think what was it? Let's see. He won a gold in the Olympic Games in 2008 in Beijing. Man. I think his wrestling is going to be too good. Henry Cejudo is a small dude, though. He is a small dude. I don't know how tall or big. Not that size matters. It's not the size of the fight in the dog. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Wait, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the fight of the... You know what I mean. You've heard it in Rocky movies. Leave me alone. But yeah, you just returned for... why would you do that? I just don't understand that. Peyton Talbot... He's from Vegas. He's 5'10". There's going to be a 6-inch height difference. So that's going to be something else. If Henry can get Talbot on his back, Henry's going to break the 3-fight losing streak. And definitely, I think the wrestling's too much for Peyton. I don't personally, I don't know the guy. But, Triple C, Henry Cejudo never really appealed to me. Even when he was champion, I thought it was very cringy. But if he wants to end this 3-fight losing streak, I see this as somebody he can beat. So I'm picking Henry Cejudo. And then you got the opening card. You got Jan Blachowicz, former UFC light heavyweight champion, on a 2-fight losing streak. But he's lost to Pereira and Alberg by decision. And then he's facing Bogdan Wuskov, 18-3, 4-fight win streak, 4 straight finishes. Now, I always lean like, hey, you're a former UFC champion. You know the championship material. You've been in those big fights. But these up-and-comers, man, this is what really this whole card is really. Besides the main event, this whole card is former champions facing up-and-comers. So, what does that mean? What does that leave for the champions? I'm picking Jan to win. So, but this whole fight card is really good. A really good fight card to end the last UFC pay-per-view ever. Well, not ever, until they start charging us, you know. But I've been a good boy. I always pay for my UFC pay-per-views. But speaking about former champions, Ronda Rousey is in the news. She's looking to get back into boxing, or get into boxing, facing Katie Taylor. Now, if you know who Ronda Rousey is, you know her history. You know, she came into the Strike Force, beat Misha Tate. Then she came into the UFC, was dominant until she wasn't. You know, I met Ronda Rousey back in like 2011 before she got like, you know, she was still Ronda Rousey, but this is before she blew up. She was in Fast and Furious, fighting Dominic's girlfriend and stuff. Crazy. Rousey, 12-0 in MMA. Then she lost to Holly Holm in a fight that I still wish that I would have put money on that fight, because I knew Holly Holm was gonna just beat Ronda the way she did, and then she loses to Amanda Nunes, and then she goes to WWE. Kind of, you know, success in WWE, but not too much. I don't think a lot of people liked her in the WWE. Listen, wrestling fans are weird. They don't like outsiders. Unless you're like Bad Bunny, you gotta really, really put in like really good work. You know, this is still not even open to Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I think, is doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal count. But yeah, Ronda Rousey, you know, she was a women's champion. I was there in Vegas when she signed a contract and put Triple H through the table. And she's looking to come back to do boxing. Hey, I know she's a mother now, mother of 2. She married Travis Brown. And I think you know, she's 38, you know. Hey, I'm 37, 38. You're never too old. You know, I know the age catches up to everybody, but, you know, but I don't know. Do you really want to go and face Katie Taylor versus Ronda Rousey? Right? Ronda Rousey rumored to fight Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is 25-1. This fight is aiming for a summer in Las Vegas, 2026. I don't know, Ronda. We all saw. Now, Ronda is a amazing judoka. You know, she's great with submissions, obviously the arm bar. But her boxing was something that was always, you know, not really there, not very good. You know, very I'm trying to think of that. I'm trying to think of the word. Very critiqued. Her boxing was very critiqued. It was made fun of. Nobody thought Ronda could box, but Katie Taylor, she's an Irish boxer from Ireland. Hey, that's where Bray County. That's where Finn Balor's from. I wonder if they know each other. So yeah, she is 25-1. Ronda, don't do it. But hey, you got the fight in you. You're a former champion, so if this is what you want to do, Ronda Rousey, you know, go for it. Do your best, and good luck. Hey, and these fights, you know, these fights will draw. You know, probably on Netflix or something. So, you know, good for Rousey, good for Ronda, good for Rowdy. I don't know why I said the name 3 times. Let's check in on the Royal Rumble. Oh, Owen Hart came out. Oh, so sad, man. It's hard. It's really hard when you watch these old pay-per-views like 96. And yes, 96 is going to be 30 years ago. And a lot of these people that come out, especially the Rumble, a lot of passed on guys. I can look and, I can see Vader, Yokozuna, Owen. It's hard, man. It's hard. You try to heroes grow and pass away when you grow up. But anyway, let's not talk negativity. Let's talk about NFL. We talked about MMA. We talked about wrestling. We talked about boxing. Talk about last night the Cowboys got defeated by the Lions. Good for the Lions. Week 14 is here. Like we said last show, no teams can clinch this week. I think the earliest clinch can probably be week 15. But there are certainly some teams that can just take another step forward to the playoffs. Lions and Cowboys. Cowboys 6-6-1. Goodbye. Lions 8-5. Titans and Browns is just a god awful game. Seahawks and Falcons. Seahawks 9-3. So, you can just check out the games for yourself. But Chad LGBT, he put his picks in for this week on my Twitter. Brat on that X. Go follow me. Excuse me. And the lock of the week is is it the Buccaneers? Yeah, it's the Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers are facing the Saints. But we can go over the standings. I like going over the standings. Patriots, once again, 11-2, 10 in a row. The NFC North is all mangled and messed up, 6-6. See, this isn't fair, because I understand it, but you got 6-6 Ravens, 6-6 Steelers, and then you have 8-4 Jaguars and Colts and Texans, 7-5, and one of those teams are not going to make the playoffs, But one of the teams that's 6-6, obviously not going to end the season 6-6, but one of those teams are going to make the playoffs over a team that, hey, every game counts, any given Sunday, But Eagles are losing 2, Cowboys lost 1. That could have been a big win for the Cowboys, but the Cowboys didn't end up winning. Excuse me. I haven't coughed the show at all. No Coke Zero, no coughs. Commanders and Giants, both trash. Bears are looking great. Really, really surprised by the Bears. Packers 8-3. Vikings lost 4 in a row. Buccaneers, Panthers. Playoff Panthers, by the way. My nephew James had a birthday last week. I announced it over the show. So, hope he had a great 27th birthday. That makes me feel old. My oldest nephew is 27. My only nephew. Then you got Rams and Seahawks 9-3. 49ers 9-4. These games are coming. I've said this for the last few weeks. These games are coming to the end. We're up to week 14 out of 17 weeks. They went by fast. And of course the Raiders are they're trash. They're horrible. Fire the whole team, send them back to Oakland. Anyway, NFL week 14 is here. Hey, start off with the Cowboys loss, so can't go that bad from now. I do want to talk a little bit about MLB. MLB.com hosted the top prospects for 2026 MLB draft. Looks like the White Sox have the most likely chance to get number 1 pick, but these draft lotteries, they're always fugazi. White Sox 27.7% might get the number 1 pick. Number 1 pick is a guy, cool name, a kid from UCLA, Roque Kalowski. What a great name. Rock Kalowski. Kid from UCLA. He's I read he's like one of the first clear-cut number 1 picks that they've had in a few years. So, White Sox get him. They're having the lottery tomorrow from the 7th to the 10th during the winter meetings. So, hey, we're at the winter meetings. Seems like, the World Series was just a month ago, which It was. So there's a bunch of other, top prospects. Go check it out. Oh, that's cool. I actually like that. Okay, so, every week I do my little, thumbnail for YouTube. And, wow. You kind of messed it up a little bit, but whatever. I asked ChatGPT to make me a nice thumbnail of a Stranger Things type, because, we talk about Stranger Things and it's just on Netflix. So he did, so I'll be posting that soon. Good. I posted episode 19 just now on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. So MLB, off-season winter meetings, not much going on. I can't wait till spring training starts. Get a nice, full, solid baseball season in for the show. Talk about free agencies. It's good because when we did this show, it was deep in the playoffs. I think it was first round of playoffs, or if the playoffs were just starting. So, I couldn't talk about the home run derby, or I couldn't talk about the All-Star game. Baseball to baseball, Like I said, if you ever need a like a Santa Claus in a Yankee outfit, I got it. Oh, excuse me. If you ever need anything like that, just let me know. So there's baseball. We're zooming through. It's 2:30 right now. I'll probably get another 20 minutes in. I got a big topic to talk about at the end of the show. NBA, Chris Paul. We just talked about Chris Paul about a week ago. The Clippers announced they're parting ways with Chris Paul. Chris Paul, future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to never win a ring. R's and W, kids. But yeah, I was surprised. They said, hey, Chris Paul, you're 30, 39, 38, 40. So we're, deuces. I thought he was on the Spurs. He was on the Spurs last year. But hey, he, second stint with the Clippers. Who's going to pick up Chris Paul? Who needs that? This is his last season. I don't want him to have his last season on the bench or not even on a team. So hopefully, it said that he and Clippers coach Tyronn Lue clashed over their differing styles and were not speaking to each other at the time of the release. So it's probably not an age thing. It's more of a communication thing. Because I know managers going to be a pain. So that's all I'm going to say. So Chris Paul hopefully gets picked up. James McGrady is in the house. Say, McGrady, you missed all the wrestling talk. We're talking about basketball. But anyway, James McGrady's in the house. Shout out to McGrady. Greatest ref of all time. If you're on the East Coast, book this man. Anyway, we got Giannis. He's talking about getting traded from the Bucks. I don't know. I heard that LaMelo is mad with the Hornets and he wants to get traded. Giannis, he's been on the Bucks since his whole career. So we're going to have to see what happens. Any team he's on gets him, I would say any team he gets on would be better, but the Milwaukee Bucks aren't really good right now. They're 10-13. So, big news. Netflix being Warner Brothers. HBO. See, that just sounds like a lot of money in there. There's $30 for Netflix and there's $20 for HBO Max. Oh, sat down for dinner at work. Hopefully work's going good. What are you having for dinner there, McGrady? Netflix to acquire Warner Brothers following the separation of Discovery for $82.7 billion. Listen, folks, there's homeless situations going on in this country where people don't get fed every night. But we got $82.7 billion for one rich corporation to buy another rich corporation while people, let me take a little backbone, okay? So I'm a Vegas resident. I love Vegas, great city. We made this giant sphere to host mac and cheese. Oh, McGrady, there's two things I love in this world. And mac and cheese is one of them. And the other two is my girlfriend. Well, three, I love wrestling too. But I don't know. McGrady, you got me going. I don't want to go on this. Netflix announced its deal to buy Warner Brothers. Good for them. So does that mean, what does that mean with AEW? AEW, they're part of HBO Max, right? So, and then you got WWE on Netflix. Netflix is buying up everything. By the way, we got new neighbors. I've seen them more since they moved in 4 days than I did see my old neighbor in the year and a half that I lived here. Anyway, somebody knocked on my door. No, we don't want any. Go away. Anyway, Rolly. He gets excited when he hears things. Rolly, come here, bub. Bubba. Anyway, so Netflix might just have to stream AEW. Well, we're gonna see. That'd be good for AEW. I know they really enjoyed on the HBO Max, but yeah. McGrady, you like hockey, right? So hey, the Islanders. We're gonna talk about the Islanders for a second to keep on the sports theme. Islanders derailed Colorado Avalanche's 17-game point streak. Now, you're an Islanders fan, right? It's in the UBC Center Arena. It's not in Nassau Coliseum anymore, right? I don't know. And then Dallas Stars forward Tyler Seguin suffered an ACL injury and is expected to miss the rest of the season. I don't even know that because I don't know much about hockey, but I do know Tyler Seguin. So that's a big blow for the Stars. That's your team, the Islanders. They were just out here facing the Golden Knights about a couple weeks ago. If I would have had UBS Arena. So, anyway, McGrady, since you're here, we'll go back and talk about. I'm watching the '96 Rumble. You remember that? We got look at that, Papa Shango, aka Khan Mustafa, aka the Goodfather, aka the Godfather. NXT tomorrow. I'm excited for NXT, McGrady. Deadline, AEW Finals, Babes of Wrath versus Timeless Love Bombs. And then tonight, SmackDown, LA Knight, versus Gunther. McGrady, next week is going to be a very, very sad week. John Cena's last match ever. It's no good. I'm going to cry. I'm going to get sad. McGrady, tell me your favorite John Cena moment. I'm sure you probably met him or you were front row at a show that he came out of because you're always in the front row, McGrady. Every time I see you, on TV, I call it the McGrady moments. I was like, there's McGrady with his McGrady moment. But, you like soccer too? MLS Cup final, McGrady. Inter Miami FC versus Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS Finals. Lionel Messi, he's kind of like the John Cena of soccer. Looking to take Inter Miami to their first MLS championship. Either team is going to be a first MLS champion, which I love. I love when teams are just, winning their first titles. It's always good. Wrexham. Now, I know Wrexham has a TV series, right? And is that the one Tony Khan owns? Oh, Liverpool. Now, you know who lives in Liverpool. Oh, no, that's Rob McElhaney and Ron Reynolds. They're the chairman. Okay. Liverpool. That's where the Beatles are from. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. That's my Liverpool accent. But I do want to talk about famous dead guys in a second. But we also have FIFA. FIFA next year. I'm excited. They did the group stages now. They had the Presidente, DT, to pick a couple of groups for America. So it looks like United States is in the Group D. Paraguay, Australia, and a winner of the playoffs is going to face the United States. I remember a few years ago, a few FIFA World Cups ago, America wasn't in it. We weren't in the FIFA World Cup, and everybody else was having fun. It felt like the neighbors upstairs were throwing a party and we weren't invited. But hey, that's gonna be fun to talk about. I know it's gonna happen all over the world. I know, or is it? It's gonna happen. Let's see. FIFA is gonna be. Is it just in America or is it everywhere? Because I know sometimes they had it in Brazil, and they were all upset about Brazil because of the poverty there. Let's see. Okay, they're going to have it in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. So, North America is hosting the FIFA World Cup. Dallas, Mexico City, New Jersey. Hey, that's your neck of the woods. Atlanta, Kansas City, Houston, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Seattle, Boston, Miami, Vancouver, Monterey, Guadalajara, Toronto. Not no Vegas. Not having any Legion. But, hey, you know, these like they say, football is the most popular sport in the world. That's what I heard. And the World Cup always draws big numbers. I don't know if America's ever won a World Cup. You know, we can talk about it, you know. Oh yeah, we didn't win in 94. I do remember that. 94 was a weird year. We should do like a 94 retrospect. There was actually a really great documentary on 30 for 30. It was called, trying to make sure, June 17th, 1994, day after my birthday. It was released. It was all about what happened on June 17th, 1994, obviously. You had Arnold Palmer playing his last round at the U.S. Open. You have the 1994 FIFA World Cup, hosted by the first time by the United States. Oh, wait a second. Maybe that wasn't one. Rangers celebrating their 94 Stanley Cup win. The Game 5 of the NBA Finals of the Houston Rockets and New York Knicks. Ken Griffey tying Babe Ruth's MLB record. Home runs before June 30th. And then you have, of course, the infamous OJ and his chase. I'm pretty sure that was the day. Actually, I'm sorry. Did they win in 94? No, they were the hosts. Sorry. I don't think America's ever won America's never won a FIFA World Cup. Last champion was Argentina, France. Oh, child LGBT. I'm sure you were happy. Germany, Spain, Italy, Brazil, France, Brazil, West Germany. That was before the war collapse. Argentina, Italy, Argentina, West Germany, Brazil, England, Brazil, Brazil, West Germany, Uruguay, Italy, Italy, Uruguay. Wow. So, you know. Good for, we were third place in 1930. So I think that's the highest we've ever been, is third place. But anyway, that's FIFA. That's the group. Whatever country, we're not going over all the countries that are in the FIFA World Cup. But, you know, the big ones like Mexico, Canada, Brazil, Germany, Spain, France. Oh, my love. Oh, my love. Actually, I'm glad you're here, babe, because I want to talk about one thing to end the show. Today would have been Walt Disney's 124th birthday. Now, I'm so glad you're here because you are by far the biggest Disney fan that I know. And I know when I texted you, you know what today is, and you said it's Walt after Disney's birthday. So, this house is full of Disney stuff. This is like half Disney, half wrestling. If there was like a Stone Cold Mickey Mouse, it would have worked great for this household. We actually, which is funny because Rolly came with his name Rolly, but Rolly Crump is a former American designer and Imagineer for Disney. So we're just gonna say we named him after him. But you know, Walt Disney, he would have been 124. We really watched a good documentary about a couple months ago about Walt Disney. This is why, you know, they point. Disney, I've learned so much more about Disney since I've dated my love, since I've dated you. Just like you know more about sports since you dated me. You know, we could talk about a little bit of Disney. I've never been to Disneyland. I think I was at Disney World when I was like 4 or 5. Maybe. I don't remember. It could have been Six Flags. I was young and stupid. So, we are going to have a Disney trip next year. I want to say my favorite Walt Disney movie, let's see, I don't really, like, you know, like Star Wars is owned by Disney. You know, McGrady, we were talking about Netflix buying everything. Walt Disney is buying everything. Every single thing. But if I can say my favorite Disney movie, I want to make sure it's a Disney movie. Well, obviously, Rollies is 101 Dalmatians. But I guess we could say it's Monsters, Inc. I love Monsters, Inc. I know it's like a Pixar. I don't really know the difference, But, growing up in the 90s, you had like a streak of such great movies, like Pocahontas. You had The Lion King. You had Cool Runnings, Aladdin, Mighty Ducks, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, Beauty and the Beast. These are all in the 90s, and that was such a great time. Even movies like Heavyweights or like Toy Story, The Big Green, D3, The Mighty Ducks, such a great, Walt Disney definitely created an empire. Couldn't have done it without his brother Roy. I realized that after watching that documentary, Roy Disney deserves just as much as respect that Walt gets, because Roy was there through all of Walt's stuff. But yeah, even like, we got new movies coming out. Even we gotta watch Disney Jeopardy tomorrow. Shout out to Brian Perry. Yeah, Pixar and Disney are the same company. I was just confused. But yeah, you got Toy Story 5 coming out. You got Moana. And then, let's see what else they got. Like Zootopia 2. Speaking about wrestling, Zootopia 2. I don't know if you noticed, but during War Games, after the match, CM Punk and Roman Reigns were in the ring together, and CM Punk whispered, what is their names? I gotta make sure their names. Oh my God, how many people are in this movie? Jeez, there's so many people in this movie. Michael J. Fox is Mario Lopez. Oh my God, Ed Sheeran, Bob Iger. Oh no, it's there was a remake or a continuation. I swear to God, there was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. Yeah, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. It was the second installment of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series. You never knew that? Yeah, I think. Yeah, they make the kids bigger, and then I think they make the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, which I remember watching. So yeah, there's a little legacy for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Rick Moranis, one of my favorite actors. I'm so glad he's coming back for Spaceballs. But shout out to them. Shout out to everybody. This has been a fun show. We talked a lot. I gotta get ready. I gotta go to that dreaded thing called work. Rolly, do you have anything to say? Actually, there is. No, what? I don't know what you said no for, because I talk a lot. So, we talked about, the comedy's good. I did my comedy show Wednesday. Love it. Check it out. Wise Guys has a show every weekend. Check it out. They got phenomenal fries and pretzel bites. Boom, blew up, not been the big. So yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and then Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves. A lot of shrinking and updating and going, but anyways, that's the show. SmackDown tonight, NXT and UFC tomorrow. We got John Cena's last match coming up next week. I'm off. I'm going to cry. Great, babe, grab the tissues. But other than that, I'm going to take Rolly for a walk. I'm going to get ready for work. And then, yeah. So, guys, enjoy your day. The Royal Rumble is happening behind me. Oh, my God. We got Steve Stone Cold with hair. Guys, we had enough. I'm going to go to work. I'm grabbing a Coke Zero. And, babe, I love you. I'll see you tonight. I'll make sure the dogs are good. So, as my theme song hits, that is all for me. Remember, love yourself, love each other, and love sports. Good night.